So I have prepared for you a brief avoiding plagiarism and citing in APA style video just to acquaint you with where we're going with learning about APA style. So at the end of the video, you're going to know a couple of things. The first is you'll have a basic understanding of what plagiarism is and what APA style is and why it's used, what an in-text citation is, because you'll be using those in your writing in this class, and the purpose of the references section in your written work, which you will also be using a references section in your written work in this class. So, first of all, plagiarism. Basically, plagiarism is using someone else's stuff without giving them credit for it. And so you read something and you summarize it or you write about it in your writing and you don't give them credit for it. In other words, you don't cite it, or sometimes it's called referencing, so you don't reference it. In psychology, we use something called APA style, and it is based on this publication manual of the American Psychological Association. It is currently, you'll see here, in the 7th edition. This is its most recent edition. They put a new edition out about maybe every 10 years or so. And so the A, PA, the A comes from American, the P from psychological, and the other A from association. And so that's APA style. Some of the social sciences, including psychology, but additional social sciences will use this style as well. You may have heard of other styles that are used in other social sciences, like MLA style, but that's not the one we use here. The reason that we follow a particular style in a discipline is because it produces consistency. So when you put down the author's name, last name, and the date, it's always done in the same format, always done the same way. So when you go, for example, to the end of a paper and you're looking for a particular reference that you read about and you're getting all the information, you can tell just by looking at it. Who was the author? When did they write it? What journal did they publish it in? What edition was that journal in? And so on. So it makes it consistent. Everybody does it the same way. And again, we're now in the 7th edition. So that's the one you want to be using as you are in our class and also going forward, because it's the most current edition. And finally, I just want to give you a heads up about where you're referencing. And you're going to reference in 2 places or cite in 2 places when you produce written work in this class when you refer to something. And so one place is what we call in text. That is in the body of the paragraph. You'll notice this in your textbook. When you're reading in your textbook, the authors will state something, and then after that, they'll have a little mini citation. It's usually basic information like the last name of the author or authors, and then a comma and the date of publication. So it's real simplistic. You use that information then to go to the end of the writing in the references section and find the whole citation, which would include things like the title and where it was published and things like that. So it's just a little tidbit of information so that you can go look for the complete reference later. I'll point out that there are 2 different ways to do this in the body of a paragraph. One is called parenthetical. That just refers to the fact that it has parentheses around the entire thing. It would look something like this. Here's my last name, Cooper, comma, 2021. Another form, though, is what they call the narrative form. It also uses parentheses often around the date, but it doesn't put all that information into parentheses. So they call it narrative because narrative means that you're kind of in your writing, in the telling of the tale, in the story of whatever it is you're writing, you're including that as part of it. So you'll see here, it sounds different. Cooper in 2021 found, and then you'd be reporting about what had been found by Cooper at that date. So they're both in-text citations. You're finding them both in the context of those paragraphs, but they're not, that they're a little different in their style. And it gives you flexibility in your writing. It actually, sometimes you want to just do this, and sometimes you want to do this. It just makes it interesting, having variety in how you put these forward. And then you're going to cite at the end of your work in the references section. And the references section is put in alphabetical order. It has some unique formatting that goes along with it. It has specific guidelines about what comes first, what comes second, what comes third, what's put in italics, what's not. And all of that helps us distinguish what kind of work is this. Is it a book? Is it a journal article? What is it? And you'll learn a little bit more about that too. So when you go forward in the class, I want you to know we're using APA style. I want you to know you have to put in-text citations in when you refer to materials that you didn't come up with in your own mind. And then you also need to follow it up in the references section by providing the entire reference. I'm going to give you a few resources. You're going to see some other additional videos that I did not create, but that are really useful. And I'm also going to refer you to a website called the Purdue OWL, which is awesome. And it has kind of everything you need to figure out how to do this. And of course, I'm always happy to help you as well. Hopefully you found this video helpful.